Good morning, good afternoon. Today your assignment is to take your 3.6 Writing and Converting Linear Equations quiz and correct it. I'm going to go through all the problems and you need to write the correct answer on your test. Please write it in pen. Okay, we'll start. So first, 1, 2, and 3, given the following set of data, which equation form should the equation be written in and why? So for the first one, you are given some points of 2, 3, 4, 6. Here you're given a point and you can find the slope. So you would use point slope form. You wouldn't use slope intercept form because you're not given 0 for x, or you're not given the y-intercept. So you would write not given y-intercept. If you were to say that you can choose any one of these points and find the slope from the table, that would be correct, as long as you explain why. Here you're given you have a graph and you're actually given the y-intercept. So you would use slope intercept form. Now if you said point slope form, it technically wouldn't be incorrect because you can find any point and find the slope, but I would use slope intercept because you're given the y-intercept. You would say it goes through the y-axis at that point right here of that y-intercept. You're given the y-intercept and you can find the slope. Okay, here passes through the point 0, 0 and has a slope, direct variation. Because you're given the slope and it goes through the origin. Okay, now I had a few people that wanted to just write these next few equations in this a certain form, not actually going through the steps that you should go through. So, and also not reading the directions. So given the following data, write an equation in the proper form. That means given the information, what form can you write it in, and then convert it to slope-intercept form. I cannot just put these numbers into my slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b because I need my slope, which I'm given, but I also need the y-intercept. This is not the y-intercept. So the first thing that I have to do is put it into a form that I can put it in. If I'm given the point and the slope, I would put it in point slope form. Y minus the y coordinate equals the slope times the quantity x minus the x coordinate. So 6 would go in here because this is x, this is y, and then the x would go right here. So y minus 6 equals, the slope is 3, x minus a negative 5, which turns to plus 5. Okay, that's my proper form. That would be the first point. Then I have to convert it. And the first thing I have to do to convert is to distribute if I have parentheses. So I would need 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times 5, which is positive 15. Okay, everything else is going to stay the same. This is another point right here to distribute. Then I need to get it into this form. So I need to get this y by itself. Y is already on the left side just like this, but I need nothing else. I just need y by itself. So y by itself here, but I have this minus 6. I need to add 6 to both sides to get rid of that. This will go away. I will have just y left. The 3x plus 6 plus 15, I can't add these two together because they're not like terms. So 3x comes down, 15 plus 21 is, 15 plus 6 is 21. So now I have, this is in my y equals mx plus b form, where now 21 is my b and 3 is my slope. If I look up here, my slope is 3. That's correct, right? The 3 or the m is my slope. My b could not be just one of these numbers. I can't just choose one of these numbers to put in that place. It has to be the correct number. It has to be my y-intercept. Okay, the next one. All you have to do here is convert the following equation to slope-intercept form. Well, I have it written in standard form, and I have to convert it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of my 3x on this side, because I want slope-intercept form is going to be that y equals mx plus b. So minus 3x from both sides. The only thing I would have left would be this negative 2y. I have to remember that negative comes with it. So equals this negative 3x and the 6 are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. I also do want to write the x term first. So I'm going to write that negative 3x on this side, and then I want to write this positive 6. So it's the same as writing negative 3x plus 6. The y is still not by itself. I have to isolate it by dividing by a negative 2. If I divide that by a negative 2, I have to divide everything by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. So 1y, or just y, equals, here 3 over 2, or 3 divided by 2, if I actually divided that out on a calculator, I would get a decimal. I do not want it to be a decimal, so I'm going to leave it as 3 over 2. The negative divided by a negative is a positive, so this is going to be a positive 3 over 2x. And then 6 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 3. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. And now I have it written in as y equals mx plus or minus a number, or plus b. Here it's just a negative b. So my b, or my y-intercept, is negative 3, and my slope is 3/2. Okay. These are all still our level 2 questions. They're going to get a little harder though, given the following data. Write an equation in the proper form and then convert it to standard form. So now instead of writing it in that slope-intercept form, now we have to write it in standard form. Standard is that ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are all integers. So first, which form can we write it in? It passes through the point 2, 4 and has a slope of 3. A lot of kids just wanted to replace the a with 2 and the b with 4 and the slope with the c. This is wrong. You cannot just add numbers in here. Remember, you can't, the standard form is the one form that you can't just plug information into. And you actually have to plug it into a different form and then convert it to standard form. So this is wrong. I have a point and the slope, so I'm going to use my point slope form. Remember, the first number is your x, the second one is your y. It's going to be y minus the y coordinate equals the slope and x minus the x coordinate. So that's going to be your proper form. That's one point. The next point would be to distribute. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times a negative 2 is a negative 6. I'm going to rewrite everything else. This right here is another point. I need to get my x's and the y on this side, and I need to get my number to over here. So I'm going to start by adding 4 to get rid of this minus 4. Remember, this is my constant. Any constants are going to be moved to the right side. So I'm going to add 4 to that. I get y left on this side, because the 4 is gone, equals 3x, and negative 6 plus 4 is a negative 2. Now I still need to get this 3x moved over here, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Oh, I did it wrong. I mean, this way you can do it, but there is an easier way that I will show you in a second. So here I have a negative 3x on this side. So let's go to so I have that 3x is a negative now on this side, and then I have that plus y equals negative 2. And if you look, this x is negative. So remember, I do not want that x to be negative. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1 for now, so that this will become a positive 3x. This will become a negative y. This would become a positive 2. I know in my class at least we talked about, well, why switch them? Because this way is harder than the way I'm going to show you now. So instead, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewrite my problem from my slope or my point slope form. So y equals 3 and x minus 2. And I'm going to distribute just like I did last time, and I get 3x minus 6. Everything else stays the same. Now if you see that your x term here is a positive, I'm just going to switch the sides. So now I have 3x minus 6 equals y minus 4. Now I have a positive over here, and I'm not going to have to do any of that multiplying by a negative for that x to become positive. So here, add 6 to both sides. I'm going to get rid of my constant here because that equals 0. Negative 4 plus 2 on that side, that equals y plus 2. And there's just a 3x left over here. Now I need to subtract my y to get rid of that. Subtract y. So now what's left is 3x. 3x minus y. This becomes 3x minus y. Positive 2 becomes that positive 2. So rewrite it all nice. Minus y equals positive 2. I can double check my work. My coefficient on my x is a whole number and it's positive. So 3 is a whole number positive. We're good there. And it's in that form, 3x minus y, or a number times x plus or minus a number times y. This number could be written as 1 equals another number or constant. That's my standard form. Let's see. Ooh, getting low on time. All right, let's do one more. Convert the following equation to standard form. Standard form again is that ax plus by equals c. So here I'm going to, because I have a positive x, I'm just going to switch the sides. So I have 2/3 x minus 4 equals y. Okay, now I need to get rid of my constant by adding that 4 to both sides. So I would have 2/3 x, this goes away, y plus 4. Now I need my y to be on this side, so I need to subtract it away from here. Subtract on both sides, so I have 2/3 x minus y equals 4. Here it looks like I'm going to be done, but I'm not. Remember, I do not want it to be fractions, so I need to multiply everything by the denominator, so by 3. So 3 times 2/3 is just 2x. 3 times a negative y is just minus 3y. And 3 times 4 is 12. So here is my simplified standard form. Okay, I'm going to do another video with the back side.